Some Kentuckians are forced to rebuild their lives with little help after being convicted of a crime they did not commit. WDRB's Katrina Nickel tells us lawmakers are now trying to right some of those wrongs. Katrina?
And this would be done with proposed House Bill 206, which would compensate some of those people that have been wrongfully convicted. It made it out of committee today and is now onto the House floor.
I was incarcerated for 4 years and served out 9.5 years on parole.
Janetta Carr was 16 years old when she was wrongfully accused of murder.
Ultimately spent 11 years in prison.
Mike Von Allman was 22 years old when he was wrongfully accused of a violent sexual assault.
I stayed on parole for 16 years.
These two have since been exonerated of the violent crimes they were once accused, but that hasn't undone the setbacks they faced well after proven innocent.
It's time that I can never get back.
Carr would have had her dream job as a paralegal. Von Allman would have bought his forever home decades ago, maybe already paid off the mortgage. Now the two are advocating for this, House Bill 206, which would compensate people who have been wrongfully convicted.
So it becomes very challenging for them to get out of, to leave prison and then to get set up in a meaningful life.
If passed, an exoneree would receive $65,000 for each year they spent behind bars. That number jumps up to $75,000 if sentenced to death row. An exoneree would also receive an additional $32,000 for each year on parole or wrongfully registered as a sex offender, whichever is greater. And while it's something to help,
No amount of money could make up for the years lost.
what's even more significant for these exonerees is responsibility.
It's an acknowledgement of the harm that was caused and accountability.
Now, this has been the fourth year some version of this bill has been proposed. Today is the furthest it's ever made in this legislative process. Some of the holdup previously has been over compensation for exonerees that have reached some sort of legal settlement in a civil lawsuit. Now, these exonerees will still be eligible for compensation from the state. However, any money reached in a settlement would be deducted from what the state owes them. Scott?
All right, we'll follow that through the legislature. Thanks, Katrina.